Okay, welcome back. We are in Assetto Corsa, and in case you're not quite familiar, this is a really obvious picture of Laguna Seca in Monterey. This is Fenryr's 2026 version zero point 0.6 of that package that he's been working on for a while. He calls it a work in progress because he's still wanting people to have a look at it, give him feedback, but it's the first public release. So this is the first chance that everybody gets to look at it, download it, etc. It's available via his Patreon page. I did not check to see if it's available anywhere else, but that's where I got it through an announcement that he said it was available. It's breathtaking. It's very cool, and we'll talk a little bit about it as we drive through. The other thing that's neat here is we talked about the THR car packs. The GTC 60s Legends pack contains this car, which is a Tiger Sunbeam Mark II. This car is interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about it as we drive it on track. So first thing you're going to notice, it's got a big honkin' V8 in it. Mark II is the successor to, as you would well imagine, the Mark I. The Mark I kind of came into existence in 1963 after Brabham and a few other people were standing around talking about, hey, wouldn't it be cool to take on the Cobras on track with a V8? So they reached out to Carroll Shelby, and he basically shoehorned a Ford V8 into the body of Sunbeam Alpine. Car very successful, British car, but lacked power that was being seen in some of the other sports cars of the era. So Carroll Shelby, did what he did, right? He created an interesting car from parts. He took a lot of lessons he learned from the AC Cobra and put them into motion here in building the Sunbeam Tiger Mark I. Well, at the same time, the guys in England responsible for the Sunbeam had contracted with Ken Miles to do his worst at doing the same thing. Now, of course, Ken Miles was already working for Carroll Shelby in his manufacturing facility and working on all sorts of fun stuff, including, I believe, the first versions of the GT40, but it may be a little earlier than that. He took a different approach that ultimately Sunbeam rejected. They went with Carroll Shelby's offering. They put some cars on track, did some fun stuff, but then decided that they wanted to renovate it a little bit. People started referring to the car as a poor man's Cobra, which didn't make the guys that were manufacturing this very happy. So the Mark II in '66, they put a bigger 4.7 liter V8 Ford still into the car. And I think that for the street versions, it was putting out about 200 horsepower. This track version, I think, was closer to 320. And so a little bit of a pep in the step car. Unfortunately, by this time, Chrysler had acquired Sunbeam, and didn't really want to continue to invest in this car, at least not in this shape and form, and kind of went away after this version, this final version. But a cool car nonetheless. 4-speed, much more engine than you need in a car this size. Likes to try to jump away from you a little bit. But Carroll Shelby actually made custom parts for this car for a number of years, so people that would buy them would actually aftermarket them to death to make really, really nice sports cars out of them. do not know if it's a byproduct of just the default setup in the car as it's set up, or the way the car was designed, but the gearing is a little weird. The first 3 gears are really close together, and there's not a lot of headroom in them when you rev them out. A little bit of room in fourth when you go into it, but still not a lot. But not dissimilar at all from the Cobra in terms of handling characteristics and having to be mindful of your throttle application. Brakes not quite as good as you would probably like them in a car with this much power. Those were the 60s. Man, what a car, though. I personally have kind of a thing for this car because of a show that it was featured in. And actually, I couldn't tell. I think it was a Sunbeam Tiger. I don't think it was an Alpine. Although visually, it would be hard to distinguish between the two. But if you remember a TV show that was syndicated well before I became aware of it, called Get Smart. A really, really silly comedy TV show that made fun of the Cold War and all those involved in it. Kind of a spy versus spy sort of a show, and it was really, really funny. And he drove Sunbeam Tiger in the show, at least part of the time. Had a shoe phone, which at the time seemed ridiculously hilarious. But then, you know, of course, as times went on, the idea of a mobile phone, that became less silly. Anyway, always thought the Sunbeam was a very nice looking car. I've seen them at car shows and races, and kind of vintage races, and they are just really breathtakingly beautiful cars. Like, if you're going to have a convertible, this would be the convertible to have, I think. I mean, there are a lot of choices. But this is definitely one of my favorites. A British sports car with U.S. roots. It's a nice combination, I think. It's got class, style, and brash silliness. '60s were an era of taking choices or taking chances that didn't really make a whole lot of sense, except that they were making you faster in some fashion. You don't see people take these kinds of chances these days. People play it really safe in racing. Everybody's doing the same thing. So let me know in the comments if you remember as a kid seeing the show Get Smart, or maybe you saw one of the movies. In the 80s, they did some movies that occasionally get play on some really weird channels these days. Get Smart, Agent 86. Of course, he was in love with his partner, Agent 99. And if you remember the car, it's a red Sunbeam. So much fun. Beautiful car. And what do you think of the track? Absolutely gorgeous. Like, I almost forgot that I wasn't actually at Laguna Seca. I've driven this track a lot, been at this track a number of times, and love it. And that drove really nice. I really, really liked it. I like the look and feel of it. Very immersive. So, Fenryr, applause, definitely warranted, and definitely check it out, and give him feedback. He definitely is wanting it. It's a work in progress track. He's this is like I said, the initial public release of it, and I think it looks fantastic. Vegetation looks spot on. The track surface looks really, really good. Going through the corkscrew feels natural, normal. Pretty amazing stuff. Let me know what you think. But I hope you got a little something out of this, that this was entertaining in some fashion for you as well. And definitely appreciate you regardless, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye now.
Spaß mache Rennsport.